Motion. Here comes the quarterback, Burrow. Looking for a block, and he got it up in the front by Hopkins into the end zone. Touchdown!
Fakes, throwing to the end zone. Wide open is Higgins for the Cincinnati touchdown.
There's the sneak. Burrow gets low, driving towards the goal line. He's inside the one, and he's into the end zone for the touchdown.
Welcome to New Stripe City, a YouTube channel for diehard Bengals fans. I'm your host, Ace Boogie. We're here to talk about Ja'Marr Chase. There's been a lot of overblown things that I've been seeing floating out there on Twitter about Ja'Marr Chase. I'm here to just pretty much get my thoughts on it and where I see him going for the season. Now, kicking things off, I'm going to start with the scouting report that I had for him based off of my cut the tape on video that I did with Coach a few months ago. So if you haven't watched that, please be sure to check it out. I do a breakdown on him. But this is what I had to say about Ja'Marr Chase. I said that he was a super physical receiver. He was really good at contested catches. Now, remember that, contested catches, that was one of the strengths of Ja'Marr Chase. I said that he can get separation, that he's a playmaker, and the comparison that I had to him was Odell Beckham Jr. And Odell Beckham Jr. without like the one-handed catches. I still think he can do that, but that's where I'm at. I'm hearing a lot of people, and I don't know who's floating this stuff around, saying that, you know, he hasn't been impressive, which is kind of weird to me. And I think he answered those critics the other day when he had a practice. He had his best practice, I think, of training camp. Now, mind you, we're still at the beginning of training camp, so all of these narratives that are being formed are pretty ridiculous. But he had his best camp of the day, and one of the knocks was the separation. And for me, that was kind of weird because Ja'Marr Chase has been known for contested catches. Like, you can't be a guy that is known for separating and be known for contested catches at the same time. And to me, Ja'Marr Chase is just a complete receiver. Some guys are just the Ted Gins and the Jalen Waddles of the world that can just run away from people. That's not his game. I think he's more of a complete receiver. He can burn people, but that's not his calling card, right? He's not John Ross. He's not one of these Tyreek Hill type players. That's just not him. He's way more physical. He's way more active. So he's a guy that is going to get crazy run after the catch. Like, there's going to be a lot of people struggling to take Ja'Marr Chase down just because of how physical and massive he is. And, you know, that just doesn't make sense. I mean, honestly, it's like if his whole MO was separation, I would understand this. If we were talking about Jalen Waddle, then that makes sense. But this is Ja'Marr Chase. And I think that he has plenty enough speed to get away from defenders. I think that he obviously has worked on some of his route running and things like that. You see a video out there floating around of him making a move on Cheeto, getting wide open. There's all kind of things that he can work on, and I think that he's explosive, and he's working on his explosiveness off the line. And I remember speaking with TJ Houshmandzadeh about this. He said that that was the thing that he needed to work on most. So I'm not worried about Ja'Marr Chase. I think that this is really being overblown. I think that he has answered his critics with having multiple days, and I also love the mindset that he has, right? Anytime he has a drop or makes a mistake in camp, he's doing 10 push-ups for that, right? So this is a guy that's coming in, and I don't think people are being fair, right? Like, he hasn't played since 2019, right? So mind you, the last time that he played ball was 2 years ago. He has to be able to knock that rust off. He's learning a brand new offense. There's so many things that go into it that people are not looking at. Obviously, he has to get comfortable to play at his top tier play by actually knowing the offense. You know, a few weeks ago, he was saying that Tyler Boyd was testing him, giving him wrong routes to run. So he's got to get that stuff down and the mental side of the game down first. And I think that obviously with him being number one on the depth chart, he is picking that up. I don't think anyone has said anything since he ran that wrong route that he's been making more mistakes. So this is a guy that is smart enough and talented enough to correct his mistakes. And he's already been saying that he's watching film, doing all kind of things, staying after practice, catching balls on the juke machine. And, you know, he comes from LSU where they have a history of guys not only performing, but also there's the legend of the 10,000 catches. This guy is bringing that to the Bengals. And he's also getting on the same page with Joe Burrow. So I think a lot of this stuff is just really being overblown. They're talking about all other receivers around camp, and that's fine. But until we actually get this guy on the field, I still think that he's the number one receiver of this class, and I don't have any problem saying that. And I think that, you know, for people to say that separation is the issue, I just don't see that, because he's still learning the offense and trying to get everything down, right? He's still learning the speed of the game. Whenever you hear these rookie interviews, the first thing that they mention is the speed, right? So he's got to get used to that. He wants to be able to run his routes at an elite speed. He's got to be able to use his burst. And I think that he's going to do that. I think that a lot of people are making a big deal out of a lot of nothing when it comes to Chase. And I think Chase is going to be just fine. And I think that we'll see that he is going to shine, and they're going to use him in so many different ways. And he's really going to open this offense. I really, truly do believe that. I think him with T. Higgins and Tyler Boyd, they're going to be a force to reckon with. They are. And so, you know, I don't know if it's clickbait. Obviously, I'm not there. I'm not going to pretend like I am there, but you've heard people like James Rapine talk about he has looked good in certain practices. So I think if it were the case where, you know, we would be worried, that would be a situation like Denzel Mims. You hear what's coming out about Denzel Mims? He might get cut, all kind of stuff. He's not a scheme fit. Like, you're not hearing any of that about Chase. So this is normal rookie things that they all go through. And I think that some people are making a big deal out of it. I think that he's going to be fine, and I can't wait for him to debut, you know. So I think Ja'Marr Chase would be just fine. I think it's a lot of nothing, much ado about nothing. And I think that the Bengals will make sure that he's going to be in the best position possible. As long as he stays healthy, as long as he's in shape, I think that he will be fine. And I think that we've seen every indication that he will be fine. So this is much ado about nothing. Let's just wait until he gets on the field before we start bringing and running with these narratives, because there's a lot of narratives that people are running with that the very next day, they're being dismissed. And so I'm glad that people are putting this chip on their shoulder. They also didn't make him the #1 receiver in Madden. And I know what you're going to say, Ace is Madden, but at the end of the day, that is people's opinion. For him to not be the consistent #1 receiver on a video game is kind of wild, because I felt like for the most part he was the #1 consistent receiver. So you already know what he said to that. He was like, I'm going to show him. And if you feel like I'm making a big deal out of it, he had ended up posting it himself, and he was like, I'm going to show him. And I'm fully confident in this guy. And I think that he has the mental fortitude to do what it takes. I love the work ethic. I love everything that he tries to get better at. Even when he had the great practice, he said that that's still not good enough. There's other things that he can improve on. So I think that Chase is going to be just fine. I can't wait to see how they use him. I hope that he gets at least a series. I would probably only play him a series this weekend in Tampa Bay. I would like to see him for a series and just see what he can do, some end-around stuff. I think that that's where he's going to really shine, because if you get him on one of these corners that aren't really big, he can really do some damage. So I think that Ja'Marr Chase is going to be just fine. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. I think it's a lot of fluff. I think it's clickbait season. I'm not buying any of that stock. I'm going to tell you that right now. I'm not buying it. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. And as usual, I'll leave you guys with a who day all day, every day, and especially on Sunday.